It's your boy Nizzy taking a look at another high school league recap for the esport company. It was week number 4, Rocket League Division 2. We had Hollidaysburg versus Bishop Carroll, Forest Hills versus Windber, Penn Trafford versus Gateway, and Salisbury Elk versus Berlin Brothersvalley. Let's take a look at our top 5 plays for this week for Division 2 Rocket League. Starting off at number 5, it's going to be Windber. WASD Esports won with a nice flip over the defenders into the back of that net for that one. And for our number 4 play, it's going to be Vaco going off the wall, getting a nice little air dribble to put that one through. And number 3, we had the Banana Monkey of Penn Trafford with an incredible flip to get that in for a goal as well for number 3. And take a look at number 2. It's iTrolley Man ducking and diving, weaving through Bishop Carroll for that number 2 play. And our number 1 play is going to go to Vaco off the wall. Take a look at this. Air dribble. Boom. Gets 1-2 taps. No one's in net. No one's home. No problem for that one. Hollidaysburg 3-0 over Bishop Carroll. Windber takes out Forest Hills 3-1. And Penn Trafford 3-0s Gateway for this week. Our standings say that Windber is undefeated. So let's see what's going to happen in week number 5 for Division 2 Rocket League. Nizzy's out.
Hello and welcome back. It is a beautiful day for Rocket League, so I hope that you are excited. This, of course, is the Esport Company's high school league for Rocket League Division 2 of the spring 2022 season. It is a fantastic day. I, of course, am your host for tonight, Alexander T. Kresek, aka Master Hamster, and I will let my co-host introduce himself.
Is that because you forgot my name? Be honest.
Max Formal, but you also have like a very, very long and intricate name that I called Regal last time.
Yes.
So I wasn't sure if you wanted to introduce it at that point, but
it's all good. Yeah, no, I'm Formal. I've been here a couple times. If you don't know me by now, well, yeah, it's Formal. That's neither here nor there. Look, this isn't about us, though. This is about bringing you 3 more games of Rocket League. The regular season here in Division 2 is about 2 weeks away from wrapping up, and even though all 8 of these teams are qualifying for those playoffs, I mean, that seeding, I feel like, it's going to be very important.
Oh, absolutely. The seeding is so important. And while we're talking about it, let's take a look at the standings that we have here, because we do see one team in particular really making a name for themselves, really standing out. And that has to be Windber, 4-0 for the season right now, undefeated, and they look like they're going to remain that way all the way through the end of this regular season, this 6-week regular season. It doesn't look close. They have just really made a name for themselves throughout the season here.
Yeah, unfortunately, we won't get a chance to see them play this afternoon. However, they definitely have been on a tear. In particular, that win that they got last week against Forest Hills probably has been their biggest win, their marquee win, I say, thus far in the season. After that point, their last 2 games, considering how they've played, they should be able to finish undefeated, and that's why you want to avoid them. Oh, pardon me. I don't know where that came from.
No worries. Yeah. So Windber obviously making a name for themselves at the top, but you can't count out Forest Hills or Hollidaysburg, who have also been doing really well for themselves, only losing, having one defeat, of course, to the undefeated team Windber. So I'm very excited to be following their success as well as they are finishing up this season, because both teams have shown a lot of improvement as we've been going through the regular season. So I'm excited to see what playoffs will hold. I still am in favor of Windber probably taking it all, but Forest Hills has definitely been impressing me as we've been watching them throughout this entire regular season.
I mean, you can say the same thing about Hollidaysburg as well, though, consistently as well. 3-1 at the moment. They're going to be playing against each other later in the afternoon, and I feel like that's going to be a very important matchup just in terms of that seeding once again, because you win that, pretty much you're going to guarantee at least a top 3 finish, which means that you will have, in theory, you good old Windber on the other side of those brackets. So this could be sort of, it's almost either a semifinal preview or a preview of who's possibly going to be in the final against Windber should everything continue the way it's going. That match will be interesting, but so too is going to be our upcoming match, actually, with Berlin versus Bishop right now. I believe both these teams are currently 1-3 and kind of looking to get themselves back on that winning track.
Yeah, absolutely. I think a win for either of these teams is going to be very monumental. They'll be able to cement themselves even just a little bit higher into that standings. Again, we're talking about it. All these teams are making it into playoffs, but the seeding is what's so important here. So if one of these teams can just inch over the other just a little bit, that'll really help them cement themselves as a contender in the playoffs.
Yeah, it absolutely would, which is why I'm kind of thinking I want to get into this action right now. Of course, our last game is going to be Penn Trafford versus Salisbury. We'll get more into that in just a few moments. The word has been given for the players to go, so I imagine any moment right now, we're going to be jumping onto that pitch.
Oh, perfect. I am so excited. Again, both of these teams have had a little bit of struggles, but I mean, their losses have come from the top teams majority. Like you have Windber, Forest Hills, Hollidaysburg, just titans in their own right. So I'm very excited to see how Berlin and Bishop take each other on.
And Berlin will be on that blue side. Bishop will be in white, and I'm a little bit interested to see how this one goes. It is a best of 5 as per usual, and we are underway. Nightmare, Spectral Flash, and Obsidian Fang, of course, on the Berlin side. Bishop has Lukey, Boy Racing, and BC Esports 6, which usually means Bishop, Carroll, Esports 6, so they're probably still kind of figuring themselves out. They're going to be using a school account.
Yeah, and that's pretty common, which is awesome because you know that these players have access to computer labs or even esports areas that they can really just be a part of their program.
And that's going to be, should have been our first goal. Boy Racing misses the open net, and that's another swing and a miss as well on defense. That's not the start that we wanted to see from Bishop Carroll. Fortunately, they won't get punished as it looks like, yeah, that shot coming just a bit off target on towards the goal.
Yeah, very unfortunate there. But, I mean, again, it's the first match. This is a best of 5, so these teams still have plenty of time to feel each other out. And Boy Racing is going to secure the first goal. Felt bad for missing that first one and just said, hey, let's correct that mistake. Let's fix it up here. Make sure that we score there. Unfortunate on the side, on the other side, just kind of rolling the ball in front of the net, teeing it up for Boy Racing, honestly.
Yeah, I can see what they're actually going for right there. I don't actually dislike that first defensive touch. The problem was the player who he was trying to pass it off to wound up reversing instead of driving forward into it, and that allowed for the shot. And don't worry, I saw this goal as well. Boy Racing recognizing the situation, capitalizing on the double commit, and making it a 2-0 lead.
Yeah, and I feel like a type of a match like this where Boy Racing is where Brothersvalley, Berlin, and Bishop Carroll are more evenly matched up will really give the opportunity for Boy Racing to show off their skill. We have seen them do well even against these higher echelon teams, and now Boy Racing, as we see it, the hat trick, just able to really encapsulate their skill, really show off what they have.
Another triple commit on defense just opens up the doorway right there for Boy Racing to put it through. Not the best opening performance thus far for Berlin, unfortunately. That defense has been a little bit disjointed, awkward kickoff as you saw Obsidian, Fang, and Nightmare actually bump into each other on a triple commit kickoff. Very fortunate they don't get punished yet. But with the way how Boy Racing has been attacking the ball, yeah, Nightmare's going to get that demo. I think that's the best chance possibly to slow them down.
Very unfortunate. We're going to see Nightmare bump into a teammate. I know that Nightmare has been fairly aggressive as in this game overall, but sometimes you can't be too aggressive with your teammate. And Nightmare, again, gonna get Boy Racing. This is the best chance I think Berlin has by just making sure that the top player for Bishop Carroll is out of the equation.
Oh no. Oh no. That was a beautiful own goal, but how?
Well, let's take another look at this. What happened here? Nightmare not getting on the right side of the ball, unfortunately, just sending it right back. Gonna also bump their own teammate out of the way a little bit as they try to correct their mistake. Very unfortunate. This might be the nerves coming up here because we do know how important this match is for the seeding.
I think that is the nerves coming through, and you can see it in the breakdown and the communication as well. Triple commit on the kickoff. Opens the doorway for the ball to go right on back. Good save from behind by Nightmare, actually. It looked to be a situation with Bishop kind of taking a bit too much time, and in a fast-paced game like Rocket League, can't afford to do that. So really well done by Berlin. Make that save from behind, but halfway through this opening game, already 4-0. We've seen very little attack coming from the blue side. I think Bishop Carroll is in control.
Absolutely, and we've just passed the halfway mark, so 4 goals in 2 minutes and 20 seconds is going to be a big ask. Never mind, 5 goals as we see Esport 6 picking up the first goal of their own. And look at this, just a little lob shot over the defense. Spectral Flash just not ready for it.
Yep, just again, the defense definitely struggling, unfortunately, on the Berlin side, and the end result has been a lack of offensive pressure as well. In order to have your offensive moments in Rocket League, you need to be able to lock your defense down, and it's just not been there. 6-0 lead, Bishop Carroll running away with this game.
Yeah, but I really liked what Nightmare was trying to do, trying to get up onto the wall, get in front of that ball, and unfortunately we're just a little low. Wasn't able to stop Boy Racing, who is just on an absolute tear right now. 4 goals to their name.
Yeah, it's just been absolute. Well, I don't want to say slaughter, but it's getting pretty close to that. We haven't hit double digits just yet, and I know for a fact that Berlin's going to be looking to avoid it. Let's see what they can do on defense if they can calm things down, get some rotations, get some solid contact on the ball. At the moment, Boy Racing, again, just slowly dribbling it to themselves. Obsidian Fang makes a dive for the ball, winds up missing, and you can see a bit of hesitation now coming from the Bishop Carroll side. They don't want to overcommit. They want to keep this game in control, and now Lukey, almost finds that inside post.
Yeah, and I completely agree with you here. As we see another demo come out, Bishop Carroll just playing this really careful, making sure that they're not overcommitting. They're taking shots when they know that they have an opportunity to. There's an open goal, but no one's there to follow up. Maybe they're being a little bit too passive. I mean, I guess if you're up 6 points, it doesn't quite matter. But if they really want to secure this bag, they might want to try to... Oh! Wow.
There we go.
Through 3 defenders there.
Yeah, Obsidian gets a nice chunk of power on that shot right there. Corner of the car, 111 kilometers per hour. Very nice, very nice. And here's the thing that has me concerned, though. 1-6. You know what's on my mind. Let's see if that actually does come through. But at the moment, Berlin, it's not that they got a bit of a goal, and I think they definitely caught Bishop Carroll a bit off guard with how much power was behind that strike.
And this may just be the start. We see Nightmare getting another demo onto Boy Racing. Obsidian has an opportunity here. Open net, gonna dribble to themselves. Boy Racing there to stop it. That was a scary situation. Obsidian Fang really coming alive here.
Yeah, Boy Racing almost committed, a little bit of a gaming sin with that one, but is able to turn it around. Lukey will put it in the goal line for the infamous 7-1 score. Very nicely done by Bishop Carroll. I want to go back, though, briefly touch upon what I kind of saw Boy Racing do, which is a bit of a no-no. And it's a bit, unfortunately, of a bad habit that a lot of players have, self-included, where when you're trying to get speed, you always go for that flip. But in doing so, you cost yourself about a quarter to a half of a second of reaction time, and sometimes it's better just to keep all 4 wheels on the ground and go at that normal speed. Had Boy Racing done that, they would have been able to react to that shot a little bit quicker. This time they didn't get punished, but as you go up against tougher and tougher opponents, that quarter to half second, that can mean the difference between a save and a goal.
Absolutely, yeah, and I really love that. We see Boy Racing had an opportunity, not quite able to finish it up, so keeping with the Brazil scoreline here, and I think that's probably where the game is going to end. Berlin really needs to start patting down the hatches at this point. There are a lot of openings in their defense. They really have been struggling with getting the ball, clearing the ball out of their own goal line, and that's where we've seen a lot of these goals come in.
Yeah, the defense has been a bit of a struggle, and unfortunately, it just comes down to basic, I want to say car hit ball mechanics, because there's been a lot of unforced errors on the Berlin side. Granted, you can't be too critical of that. The wonderful thing about this league is you do get to see different teams of different experience levels, and you could see that the Berlin side, they're a little bit less experienced playing at the tempo that players like Boy Racing are coming at them with. And when you're forced to sort of push, when you're forced to challenge yourself, you're going to make mistakes. So that's why I'm not going to be coming down hard on Berlin and be like, oh, no, you've missed those shots. That's awful. That's terrible. No, they are going for it. They're not sitting back in the box. They're not playing passive. They are trying to play aggressive. And to that, I commend them. So I like what Berlin has been trying to do on defense. It hasn't been working out, I feel, because of, a little bit of a lack of experience and a little bit not used to that tempo. But if they continue to kind of keep at it, I do see a world where they might start to turn things around. I think it's unlikely, but they're attacking the game with the right mindset, I feel.
Absolutely, and I feel like if we can see Nightmare really come into that enforcer role, see them push around players, making sure that Boy Racing is out of the game, and then let Obsidian do their thing, there really is a possibility that we can see Berlin start to turn this around. Actually, we're going to see a little bit of a switch here for we are actually getting Iconic Caden is taking the spot of Obsidian Fang, actually.
Okay, so you sub out your person who scored the goal. Interesting tactic. Let's see if it works out. I mean, one of the big issues that I thought Berlin had in that last game was a lack of communication, just because there were some double commits and some triple commits, which is a side effect of a team trying to play at a faster pace than they're used to. But we'll see if that kind of plays out right now. Nightmare, again, goes for it, was rotating through, was in the right spot. That's what I mean. Like, they're trying to make the right play. They just don't always have the mechanics to back it up yet. But this is a great first step for a team that is still trying to learn the game. That's a nice touch by Iconic Caden, actually. Creating some space, pushing that ball down the field. So let's see if they're going to be able to continue from there.
Yeah, Iconic Caden, I know there was a little bit of hesitation with subbing in this player, especially when Obsidian was, in fact, that player that scored. But Iconic Caden really coming in strong, getting these good touches, even putting Bishop Carroll kind of on the back foot here. An opportunity, but Iconic Caden's not going to be able to get that touch. And Bishop Carroll stays alive just a little bit longer.
Yeah, Lukey just doing enough on defense right there to make that save, but that's a big swing and a miss. Iconic Caden will capitalize. 1-0 lead in favor of Berlin.
Wow, I guess all it takes is a good sub in order to change the entirety of the team. You were saying that Berlin was struggling a little bit in that communication. Maybe Obsidian was taking a sub position here, so they weren't used to that three-man stack. Instead, they're used to more Iconic Caden, who can really lead the team to victory, which leads Berlin to an early lead and possibly another shot. Oh my gosh, Iconic Caden's so close.
Yeah, Iconic Caden is actually bringing, the two things I'm noticing Iconic Caden is bringing to this game is a little bit faster tempo, as well as that aerial game. Iconic Caden isn't afraid to go up and attack the ball when it's in the air. Now, that's a bit of a swing and a miss, so it will be a goal going back in favor of Bishop Carroll. But these little differences have added so much more to the Berlin side that they were lacking back in game number 1. They're now able to more consistently challenge. They're able to keep up that speed because of the inclusion of this one player, and that's how come this matchup is a lot tenser.
Absolutely. A little over 3 minutes remaining, and we're tied 1-1. Game 2 is looking very, very different from game number 1. Berlin definitely showing some life in their eyes. Iconic Caden not getting the touch that they wanted. Lukey getting a little turned around. actually, there looks like a bit of a miscommunication on all sides here, unfortunately. But Lukey is going to take advantage of that.
So, I like that goal. I like the goal from Lukey. I like the positioning of Lukey. And I also like the positioning of Boy Racing, because had there been a challenge right there, Boy Racing had a good chance to be able to put it through. I'm going to be a little bit critical of BSC Esports 6. They were playing goalkeeper, and I don't want to go into that rant just yet, but playing goalkeeper when your team is on the attack is a big no-no from me. And you can kind of see it right now. BC Esports just sitting back in the net while the rest of the team is playing it forward. But it comes from confidence as well. Confidence in Lukey and Boy Racing. And how can you not be confident in these two with the way how they're playing?
Absolutely. We definitely saw Boy Racing.
Push. There you go. No. Oh, I don't like that.
We saw Boy Racing popping off in the first game, but they've been a little bit quiet in this second game. Lukey really taking control for their team, but I think you're right. Esports 6 on the side of Bishop Carroll has been very, very quiet, particularly because they've just been sitting back in that goalie position.
Yes, I'm watching right now. They're not going all the way back yet, but a little bit of an awkward position. But see, this right there, I know BC Esports missed the ball in that situation, and he's probably thinking, shoot, if I'd been back in the goal, that would have been, easier for me to hit it. Perhaps, but to be honest, your positioning was better when you were playing in the midfield and rotating back like that, because you get to the ball a bit faster, and assuming you make contact in that situation, it's a lot easier to kind of use that ball to then pass it back to a teammate who will be a bit more centered. So even though in that situation it looks like they made a mistake in the ball count behind them, their positioning was actually correct.
Yeah, I completely agree. And we see time ticking away. Not much happening here as teams are just fighting for possession. No one team has really been able to secure a full aggression. Lukey might be changing that right now. A shot off the backboard. Gonna get a touch. Not exactly what they were looking for, unfortunately. Just going the other way. But Esports 6 is here to center it.
Oh, that was a really nice center as well. Unfortunately, Lukey just didn't quite have the confidence to jump up and attack the ball, especially after, I think, missing that last shot. Although I will say this, I do feel like both teams in this game in particular are pushing their comfort zone. We're seeing a lot of attempts, a lot of unforced errors, yes, but that's because they are going for attempts that are a bit lower percentile for players at their skill level coming into this. And that's exactly what I always like to see in high school leagues. Are these players going out and challenging themselves, going for shots that they normally won't go for, and looking to sort of push their skill. As that right there is the weakness of having the goalkeeper. You can't get to the ball fast enough from your own goal if you're stagnant. Very, very fortunate that Bishop doesn't get punished.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Iconic Caden just a little bit off there. 20 seconds remaining. Berlin's got to put everything into this last push. They need a goal to tie it up, but Boy Racing is there.
What?
Boy Racing is going to win that 50-50 somehow.
Nightmare almost just fluked his way in front of the ball. That's not a fluke, sorry. He knew exactly where he was going. Almost made the spectacular save, but Boy Racing, yeah, does win out on that one. 16 seconds left, 3-1 lead. It's going to be a 2-0 series lead for Bishop Carroll.
Absolutely. There's not much that Berlin can do besides a miracle to tie this up. And as time is taking away, we are not going to see that miracle. Bishop Carroll looking dominant, but definitely not as dominant as we saw in game number 1. I think the addition or the substitution of Iconic Caden has really helped Berlin make this a much closer match.
Yeah, I think you actually have a good point on that one. It has been a very, very tight one. For sure, and I'm curious to see if we can see a bit of a comeback, because now I have more hope that we actually could be seeing a game 4 or 5.
Yeah, especially if maybe Iconic Caden coming in a little bit cold. They were taking that game number 2 to warm up, get back into this match, and just feel more comfortable with their gameplay with the team as well. So I'm interested to see how they can warm up here. I feel like we haven't really talked a whole lot about Spectral Flash on the side of Berlin, so I would like to see a little bit more of them. They were able to get an assist for that one goal that Iconic Caden scored, but I don't feel like they did too much more outside of that.
I think Spectral Flash, when I'm talking about like the still having communicational mishaps, is the player who needs to speak up a little bit more, or at least be kind of spoken to a little bit more, because I kind of feel Spectral Flash, and I'll have to go back to the replay and watch this game, but what it seems to me is the fact that like Spectral Flash constantly finds himself almost underneath their teammates and then will be the one committing the double commit because if they're on ball cam, they can't see where their teammate actually is. So often they're the one who's guilty of the double commit, but that doesn't always necessarily mean it's their fault. It could be a case of they've lost track of their team, something's been miscommunicated. So when I've been saying, hey, we need to see a bit more communication from them, that's why. That said, Spectral Flash got subbed out, so I don't think we're going to be seeing much of him in this game.
I really like this call. I think this is a good call. I think Obsidian Fang, who scored the 1 goal in game number 1 for Berlin, should stay in. And with Obsidian and Iconic Caden together, I think they are going to be a force to be reckoned with. As we see aggression here, Iconic Caden's there for the touch. It's not going to be much. Nightmare trying, but it is just a little too short. Unfortunate. Nightmare trying to stop this push because now Bishop Carroll in the driver's seat. Iconic Caden taking that aerial attack.
Yeah, Iconic Caden really has been the one trying to get that aerial game going. And oh no, does this roll in? Not quite, but it's close. Follow-up from BC Esports 6. There you go, getting involved. You have to say they're probably the newest player to the game on the team, but that impact still is felt.
Absolutely, a perfect angle too, getting around Nightmare, who just unfortunately a little off from clearing that ball. Bishop Carroll taking an early lead, but I think Berlin really does have a chance with this lineup in particular to take this game back and even take game 3 here.
Yeah, I think they are going to be starting to bring it back right now. This is pretty big. We'll see if they're going to be able to get something on this attack, but it's another triple commit. That's a wide open net. Unfortunately, Boy Racing, I think thought there's a bit more pressure for the first touch, not for the second. Lukey steals it away. That's naughty, Lukey. Doesn't matter. 2-0 lead.
It's just a goal secure. Lukey was securing the goal here. Yeah, just making sure it was going in. No worries.
Like my support player, you know, securing the kill with that ignite. Yeah,
Exactly.
2-0 lead right now as we continue along. Things are looking pretty good right now for our team in white. Bishop Carroll actually looking for another one right now. Boy Racing actually doesn't really jump up for the ball. And it's interesting for me, Boy Racing, because they're a very fast player. They're usually, you know, positionally in the right spot, but a lot of swings and misses because they don't really like to get up into the air. They really like to focus on that ground game.
Yeah, absolutely. I think at this level, that's what we've seen for a lot of players. If anyone, Iconic Caden is definitely the most comfortable in the air. Unfortunately, gonna wave Obsidian Fang just a little too close on that second man position, so not able to get a touch as well. That was Berlin's opportunity to at least start working on tying the score up, but they just couldn't finish it off. Now, an opportunity, but it's gonna get knocked back. Boy Racing has an open net. It's just slightly wide.
That one just not quite where it wanted to be. Boy Racing off that backward pass back to Lukey, and that's going to be a 3-0 lead. This is looking very, very good for Bishop Carroll right now. They're starting to pull away with this one.
They absolutely are, and I think this is what we've been seeing from Bishop Carroll is a lot of these pass plays or at least rebound plays, and we haven't quite seen as much from Berlin. They're trying, but they just haven't really gotten into that team play flow, I think. They've been trying to rely on Iconic Caden or Obsidian's ability to break away and solo goal, but unfortunately it hasn't been much of a success for them.
Caden may have just saved actually a goal right there, a bit unfortunate, but yeah, I kind of am hard-pressed to expect passing plays coming from, realistically, either of these teams at the level that they're at right now. It still very much hit that ball in the somewhat general area. Like, a pass play for this one is putting the ball somewhere where you think your teammate is going to get there first, as opposed to, like, a dedicated pass to exactly where that player is. Just because I still think both these teams are looking to build the skills. Nice save by Caden right there. But they're still looking to sort of build those ball control skills, build those communicational skills. They're still at that phase of the game. And I do have to acknowledge the fact that Bishop Carroll is a little bit more ahead. Like, you can see them trying to utilize that backboard or the walls at times to pass it to teammates. We haven't really seen too many pitch passes yet, but they're still working towards it right now. And it is good to see these teams continue to try to grow those skills.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you're completely right. Bishop Carroll just looking like the stronger team, looking like they are a bit more. But Lukey's gonna get demoed and still get the goal. Oh my gosh. things like this, right? Lukey just able to knock the ball a little bit above the defender. Nightmare not ready to jump to try to stop that ball, unfortunately. So it just goes right over the hood of the car.
That's now a 4-0 lead, and I think it's going to maybe even get a little bit worse before it gets better for the Berlin brothers. They're going to need a pretty epic comeback if they're going to get back in this one, and unfortunately for them, I don't see it happening as they cannot corral the ball in the middle of the pitch. That's going to be 5-0, a little bit of a chaotic play as everyone lunges towards the goal.
You know, I really thought that this was the lineup for Berlin. They've been making the substitutions, trying to really figure out what would work best. But you know what? They are still struggling against Bishop Carroll, who really just looks more and more confident the deeper we're getting into the series. They're really working on passing plays. They're all getting involved. I think at the end of the day, Bishop Carroll just proving that they are, in fact, the more skillful team, the more technical team here.
I'm going to go out on a limb here, and feel free if you think I'm wrong to correct me, but I think it's less of a case that they're subbing trying to find the optimal lineup, but it's more a case subbing trying to get everyone that experience, and that's something that I can respect as well. So Berlin brothers, they went out there, they had to go, they did push themselves, and I can also argue that Bishop Carroll has been pushing themselves this game as well. Boy Racing going to find that 6th goal as if it wasn't secured before. It definitely is now, and for Bishop Carroll, I am kind of curious where this team is going to stack come playoff time, because they're kind of gearing themselves for that 4th, 5th seed, and that's going to be a tough matchup.
Yeah, absolutely. What I do think is really good and really promising out of Bishop Carroll is in the past when we've watched them, it really has been the boy racing show for the most part, where this player is the one who's making all of the plays. But now we see other players like Lukey who are really stepping up, boy racing, even making passes like this to the teammates who are there in order to secure these goals. That to me is really promising and something we didn't see quite as much in the earlier stages of this season.
Yeah, I mean, that pass, it wasn't the hardest pass, it wasn't the fastest pass, it didn't need to be, but it's just enough to kind of show, like, hey, this is something that we want to work on in the future. So I do like seeing that again. It was something that actually I called the team out before for not doing enough. And so the fact that, again, they're still learning how to pick those up, that's pretty good. And I feel as if that goal was maybe a little bit of a gift for that 7-1 score line.
Yeah, you know, there was definitely chaos, definitely a bit of spaghetti there, so some dropped clears for sure. You know, but we're all fans of Rocket League, fans of soccer, so I'm sure they just want to secure that 7-1 score line, because it just makes it a bit better, if you will.
So here I was wanting to come in here and say, I can't say I'm a fan of soccer. Well, honestly, I can't say I'm a fan of football, but I do respect the game, so I'm not going to trash it. Congratulations, Bishop Carroll. They get the win. 3-0 sweep, advancing to 2-3 on the season.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think this match was really important, especially since Berlin brothers, Bishop Carroll, both 1-3 in their own right, both struggling throughout this season. Bishop Carroll showing that they do indeed have that skill, that they can in fact separate themselves from some of the other teams in this pack. I'm really excited to see how Bishop Carroll will stack up in that playoffs.
Yeah, so am I. I mean, again, they're looking to fight for that 4th, 5th seed, and that's arguably a tough match. That said, if you look on the other side, though, for Berlin, like, they're also going to have an incredibly difficult match in the future right now. They're trying to get back in that 4th, 5th as well, because for them, that could arguably be their best chance to advance. So it's a bit of a tough loss. I don't know if they can achieve that anymore. They're kind of in that 6th, 7th, 8th spot at this stage, and they have 1 week left to kind of end the regular season on a high. But this is only our first game of the day.
Yeah, and this was definitely one of the matches that we really wanted to look at. This is one of the matches that you and I talked about earlier that we really were going to keep our eyes on because of how important this lower seeding would play out. I'm very excited and happy about how that match played out. Bishop Carroll is now one of those teams that I'm going to keep my eyes on in the future. Unfortunately, we did just get word that game number 3, Penn Trafford versus Salisbury Elk, has been canceled. So we unfortunately aren't going to be able to watch that. But that does leave us one other game, and that is Forest Hills versus Hollidaysburg, which is another matchup that you and I were talking about before the broadcast that we are very excited for. Both the 3-1 teams. A lot is riding on this because this matchup will indeed decide who gets the second seed and who gets the third seed for this division.
Yeah, that is going to be a tight one. Hopefully, we don't have to wait too long for it, but it could be a little while. I don't want to give an exact time, but I will say this: like it's the marquee matchup. So I'm very happy that one will be going through. And I mean, 2, 3-1 teams fighting for that number 2 seed. It's going to be a very different looking game, I feel, out on the pitch.
Oh, absolutely. And we've seen so much from both of these teams already. Forest Hills becoming one of my favorite teams. And it's not just because they followed me on Twitter, but they are also just really showing their technical skill on the field. And this is where, when we look at this higher portion of the division, where they really start taking to the air a bit more, and we get to see more aerial dribbles, more aerial attacks. And that is when Rocket League gets really, really exciting.
Yeah, I have to agree. Look, do I have to like start saying they're my favorite team too to get that follow? Is that how that works? I don't know, but I do believe we do need to throw to a bit of a break now, though.
Yeah, we are going to be taking a quick break. So, well, you may have a little bit of time for a break. Make sure to get some food, maybe some snacks, maybe some popcorn, maybe some tea. So take some time. But when we come back, we'll have Forest Hills versus Hollidaysburg. That is a matchup that you are not going to want to miss. But for now, we will be taking a short intermission. See you soon. And here we are. Thank you so much for your patience. The time is now, after the long awaited intermission. We, of course, have Forest Hills versus Hollidaysburg, the both 3-1 teams. This is going to be a fantastic match. I am so excited. Formal, how are you feeling?
I'm hoping that this one is worth the wait, and I wish I could say, I was a bit more keen, but we had that long break. It's going to take a little bit to warm back up. I'm putting pressure on the players now because it's on to them to get us back into this. So I want to get into that game. I want to see double, triple resets. I know they said they've never done it before. I don't care. Not an excuse. I need that pop. I need that sizzle. So I'm hoping 2, 3-1 teams, knowing that a loss here might send them down towards that number 4 seed against that undefeated squad known as Windber, the team you want to avoid. The best way to do that is to win this match right now.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. Both these teams have only lost to that undefeated team so far. Windber on such a roll that, yeah, you're absolutely right. They want to do everything in their power to avoid being seeded so that they have to face Windber or be on that side for the playoff bracket. So yes, this match is so important. And man, we've seen such good things out of both of these teams. I am very excited. We had a little bit of time to talk to Forest Hills in the chat while we were waiting for the match lobby to get set up, and they seem pretty excited. They seem like they're ready to show off a little bit of their skill, especially against Hollidaysburg, who has been on an absolute tear so far.
Yeah, I mean, both these teams have been looking good, but if we were to kind of look at the momentum coming into this matchup, you'd have to favor Hollidaysburg in that situation. Forest Hills did have that disappointing loss 1-3 against Windber just last week, and that's what they're going to be looking to bounce back from. Whereas Hollidaysburg, I mean, they got Windber out in the very first round, so they've had plenty of time to bounce back. They've been on a very hot win streak since then, winning their last 3 games in a row. It's going to be a challenge for Forest Hills, one that I'm excited. Now I'm excited. See, we just had to talk a little bit, and now I'm feeling it. Now I'm feeling good. So let's kick this off. I think we're gonna be heading to the pitch right now. It's gonna be the green side of Forest Hills versus the blue side of Hollidaysburg.
Yes, absolutely. And, I really think that we didn't see Forest Hills at their absolute best against Windburst. So hopefully we can see that here against Hollidaysburg. Vaco going to get a quick touch off. And again, on side of Forest Hills, we have Giving You Hail, Strike Force 435, and Vaco. And then on side of Hollidaysburg, we have Haphazard Drip 94, iTrolley Man, and Shredder Luke.
Shredder Luke, who actually was a little bit slow out of the gate. Don't know if they stalled their car, something that you actually can't do in Rocket League, or what exactly happened right there. But off the kickoff, Shredder Luke did not move, waited 10 seconds, had a little practice hop, now is involved in the game, and this could be a good time to do it. There was a pass for him. Instead, Trolley Man's going to take it. That's going to be our opening goal.
Yeah, and when we talk about these teams, iTrolley Man is definitely that lead player for Hollidaysburg, always making these big plays, always getting in front of the ball, and today is no different. Absolutely starting Hollidaysburg off with a fantastic first goal here.
Yeah, good start for the team in blue, picking right where they left off last week, and you can see Haphazard Drip trying to get a bit of space, and not sure I'm liking this initial look on the defense from Forest Hills. You know what I'm going to say. Boxed up in the goal. All 3 members, not the best look. But now Vaco going to try to slow play it out. That solo 50 goes their way. No one pushes across that midfield line straight away. A couple unforced errors. Just think, had they been a bit more aggressive on the Forest Hills side, that could have been a goal.
Oh, that is so unfortunate. It felt like the ball was just in front of the net for so long, and Forest Hills was just able to touch it again. They may have been able to score that, but now they're just trying to get possession of it. Giving You Hail has an opportunity. iTrolley Man is in the net, gonna pop it off, but Vaco is there to receive, not able to get quite the shot on next. Straight Force just staying back in the goal, yeah.
That was such a perfect pass across the middle as well. And had Strike Force been in the middle of the pitch, that's where you can step forward, and you would have been the first player to the ball. You would have been taking that shot. And that's, I started on it last series. I don't want to go back into it. My opinion on dedicated goalkeeper, it is known by this stage. It's just unfortunate to see that plaguing our team in green right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm not sure if they are planning, if Forest Hills are planning on maybe making a switch later as we get deeper into the season. We have seen Mega Blaziken, one of the other stronger players of Forest Hills, who was making plays or has made plays in the past. So this is not a lineup that we get to see often. Giving You Hail, a player that we've seen a little bit, but not quite as frequent as someone like Mega Blaziken. So perhaps they are, again, trying different team comps, trying their subs, or making sure that everyone gets to play. Either way, Forest Hills struggling a little bit out the gate here, but they're not down by too much, so there's still an opportunity.
I would argue so, though, as Hollidaysburg, because Shredder Luke seems to have, unfortunately, have gone disconnected, or something has gone wrong. They have stalled their car once again, so a little bit of a 2v3 situation with iTrolley Man also acting as a dedicated goalkeeper right now. That's going to put so much pressure on Haphazard Drip to try and force a play. Shredder Luke has lost connection. Something that I was afraid may have been happening right now. So a 2v3 in favor of Forest Hills. 2 minutes left. Can they find that equalizing goal?
Yeah, this is basically a hockey power play at this point, where Forest Hills has got to make something happen when Hollidaysburg is missing a player, but instead they're crossing it right in front of their net. Oh my gosh, Haphazard's going to win that 50-50, and even down a player. Hollidaysburg going to go up another point, 2-0 with 1:43 remaining.
Oh, the double commit with the person just sitting in the goal right behind. Yeah, Haphazard just needed to win essentially 150, and the goal was theirs, which is exactly what happened. Look, numbers advantages are great, but you have to know how to use them. Kickoff does go in favor of the team in green, as to be expected in this situation. all they need to do kind of is actually stay back. I want to see a more conservative approach right now coming from the Hollidaysburg side, and I know that's unusual coming from me, but you have a lead in a 2v3 situation against a team that likes to overextend. I actually feel like playing a little bit further back, letting them come to you, letting them double commit will give you the best opportunities for that counterattack. So just stay cool, calm, collected, Hollidaysburg, and you're probably going to win this game.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think playing back and playing defensively is the best option for Hollidaysburg. Just wasting time, keeping your lead until either your player comes back or the game ends so you can get a sub in is honestly the best strategy, and it's working out so far. Hollidaysburg just playing back, as we've seen, not really passing this mid line, or if they do, they immediately come back, or we see Haphazard trying to steal that corner boost, making it even more difficult for Forest Hills to get that aggression that they want.
Yeah, we'll see if they're going to be able to get to it right now. It's Haphazard. Going to try and set something up. I mean, with 30 seconds remaining, 2-goal difference, one more big defensive clear or stop might be enough to end this game. Trolleyman does cross up the field. No one around that ball. It's kind of up to giving you Hale to center it, but there's, again, no one there to collect the pass because you have two people back in the goal playing defense when you're down 2-0. That's not going to win you games, unfortunately, for Forest Hills. So it will be Hollidaysburg taking this opening game. You would have to think. Trolleyman puts it up. It's in the box. Mako needs this goal, but it's stolen away, and that will secure it. Hollidaysburg get the first win.
Yeah, even with having that player disconnect a little over halfway through the match, they are still able to secure that win. And again, I think you're absolutely right. Hollidaysburg made the right decision. They played back. They played defensively. Forest Hills, unfortunately, was also playing defensively. They were also playing back, not playing aggressive enough, not taking advantage of the power play that they had.
So this is kind of going to be a hard one for me to properly explain because 2v3s are so rare in Rocket League that you don't normally strategize around it. But when you're the 3 in a 2v3, you don't really want to change your playstyle too much. You still want to have your clean rotations because that's going to give you the open shot. If anything, what you want to do typically is kind of tighten your spacing, maybe slow down the pace a little bit. So you get, the first challenge 1v1, have the 50 be somewhat neutral. Second challenge 1v1, again, have the 50 be somewhat neutral. And then your third member should have an open looking field. Or you go for the slow play, you juke out one defender, all of a sudden you're in a 2v1 or 3v1 situation. So realistically, Forest Hills, they still need to be attacking the ball, but they do need to slow the pace. And I don't mean slow the pace all the way down where you're sitting in the net. No, you still need to be a bit proactive in making plays, but going for that slower place, going for 50s, and making sure you're faster and the next player there, eventually you will win in that numbers game.
Yeah, exactly. And I think what Forest Hills needs to do right now is to clean up those rotations. We saw so many of these pushes just go unanswered where there isn't that second or that third man who really takes advantage of the fact that the ball is just rolling in front of the net on the side of Hollidaysburg. So if Forest Hills can close those gaps a little bit, make sure that they're following, communicating with each other, I think that we will see a much closer game and Forest Hills will start to score some points.
That said, Shredder Luke has rejoined the lobby, so I do believe as soon as we kick off this next game that they're probably going to be right back in this as well. And in that 3v3, it's going to be a bit difficult. Now, I have been favoring the more defensive counterattack style from the likes of Hollidaysburg in this one when they have all three members. That could differentiate a little bit. The big thing for me, as you did mention, can we see Forest Hills clean up their rotations? Can they get their communication down packed? Because until they do, even in the 2v3, they're going to struggle in this series.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think another thing to note for Forest Hills is we do see Mega Blaziken in the lobby. This may be an opportunity where Forest Hills is taking some time to make sure that they're set up, potentially looking over their roster, maybe making a switch because we know how deadly the Vaco Mega Blaziken combo can be. At points, it looks unstoppable when they're just passing in front of the net. So I would be very interested to say, I'd be also a bit remiss to say that I am definitely looking forward to seeing that combo again. And I'm hoping that we get to see Mega Blaziken and Vaco on the field together because I really do like that combo. So far, though, Hollidaysburg just looking so clean with their gameplay.
Yeah, I mean, they went in that 2v3 and they came out on top. It wasn't perfect by any stretch. I still saw, moments at the dedicated goal keep, times on defense where they were playing maybe a little bit too reactively when there's opportunities to be a bit more proactive. I don't blame them too much, though, for erring on the side of caution. Again, I just don't like the dedicated goal keep. As long as you're a little bit more mobile on that defensive side, I think you're going to be a lot better overall, as I do believe we should be seeing the players join up now. There we go. So, yeah, we do see them jumping on in, or at least we're seeing them jump in on one side. So hopefully we'll be cutting to the pitch soon. There we go. Yep, everyone is coming in. Game number 2, currently a 1-0 lead for Forest Hills. Doesn't look like Shredder Luke has made their way back in, so it could be another 2v3.
No,
There he is.
Yeah, there we go. Hollidaysburg does have the advantage here. Forest Hills trailing right now. Can they bring it back? Remember, this is a best of 5, so all hope is not lost if you're a Forest Hills fan. They do have a couple of games to get back in here, and we do see Strike Force being subbed out for Mega Blaziken as we were talking about, as we sort of anticipated. Again, Vaco, Mega Blaziken, 2 of the more aggressive players for Forest Hills. Already we see a bit of a change of pace.
Yeah, we're seeing a little faster tempo coming from the Forest Hills side, as to be expected. Unfortunately, one miss is all you need to possibly open the door. I like that demo from iTrolleyman. Unfortunately, haphazard drip wasn't quite able to get that center through. I'm noticing already, though, like we're seeing actual rotations coming from Forest Hills since then. We're seeing a bit wider spacing, but they're using that spacing quite well, and they're still making sure it's the next player getting to the ball, sometimes with a bit of momentum. There's been a couple unfortunate touches like we saw right there, but for the most part, this team is kind of looking a lot more solid, so I like this change. I like this Forest Hills a lot better. They just got to kind of cut down on a couple of those unforced errors. Strong strike from Vaco. Good save from iTrolleyman.
Yeah, and again, iTrolleyman just sitting in the net. This is what Hollidaysburg needs to, but unfortunately they're not really trying to get possession. They're just trying to survive, and Vaco is there to knock it in. A beautiful drop down pass from Mega Blaziken.
Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised actually that we were able to see Forest Hills on the attack for so long right there. I really thought after that iTrolleyman save, there should have been a second defender to get that ball and help clear it out, but on the attacking side, Forest Hills just with way more momentum. Speaking of which, kickoff, Vaco's the one who cheats, Vaco's the one who scores.
Yeah, and you have to be so careful on kickoff. You see both of the players on the side of Hollidaysburg going for those corner boosts, expecting to win that 50-50, but anything can happen on kickoff. And Vaco, as you said, the one who cheats up, he was ready for it.
Yeah, very well played right there, Forest Hills. 2 quick goals. Let's nearly make it 3. iTrolleyman coming through with the save, and that was why, right there, why I don't like dedicated goal keep. When you're able to make the save coming from the corner, pushing through, you can stay with the ball sometimes, depending on where you put it. And I know it didn't work out in their favor, but iTrolleyman put themselves in a position to not only make the save, but clear the ball past that midfield line. And that's not something you can do if you're stuck in the net playing as dedicated goal keep. That's something that's a lot easier to do when playing defense either off outside posts or through the corner.
Yeah, and really, man, this has just been such a different Forest Hills right now. They're being so aggressive. The double commit, not something we really want to see, unfortunately, but they do keep possession. Of course, as I say that, haphazard gonna get a touch on it. Again, Hollidaysburg just struggling to keep this ball out of their half.
And Shredder Luke is struggling to even drive right now, moving at a snail's pace across the middle of the pitch. I'm not sure what's happened there. Vaco will go straight over the top of them, looking for that shot. Not quite going to find it this time around, as iTrolleyman playing it through that side. Touch from Vaco. Do we see another response? Not quite yet. Haphazard going for the juke. Vaco there to punish. Halfway through our second game, Forest Hills looking to tie this series if we continue as we are.
Yeah, Vaco there with an attempt, not quite going to get it. Giving you Hail, also being very aggressive. And this is what I like. We see Forest Hills switching up. They don't have a dedicated goalie. They're making sure that everyone's getting involved in the play. Vaco's there for the shot. It's just a little wide. Unfortunate. iTrolleyman now on the attack.
I really like that touch from Mega Blaziken. It was fast, but it was accurate, and that was a very difficult pinch. I'm not going to be too critical of Vaco for missing that shot because it's a tough pass to collect, but my goodness, Blaziken just bringing the heat right now, and that's exactly what we want to see from that Forest Hill side. 100 seconds remaining. They still have that 2-0 lead, but they are not letting up in terms of aggression. They're continuing to try and keep that ball pinned on the blue side of the pitch, and if they can maintain this control, I think they're actually might be becoming the favorites to win this series.
Yeah, and again, as I said, Mega Blaziken and Vaco becoming possibly my favorite duo to see on this pitch, and we can kind of see why, especially Mega Blaziken setting up so many beautiful passes for Vaco to just dink into the net.
Yeah, there's been a fair few of those as well, and once again, Shredder Luke might be having connection issues as they have gone still in the middle of the pitch. Vaco giving them a bump as the ball continues to be played through the corner. When you see Forest Hills with their full strength, all of a sudden, that 2v3, which before looked to be not that big of a disadvantage, all of a sudden becomes a major one right now. Haphazard Drip and iTrolleyman doing what they can on defense, but without that third member, they have to be so careful when they opt to commit, and they need to make at least one person miss, which iTrolleyman does. So they get the ball on the green side of the field. Can they find a goal here? There's an opening. Haphazard puts it high.
And Haphazard also gets the demo. That was the opportunity. Unfortunately, the ball is just going to lazily bounce over Shredder Luke, who is struggling with technical difficulties. 15 seconds remaining. I do believe that this is going to go the way of Forest Hills. Not much that Hollidaysburg can do. Hopefully, they'll be able to fix whatever is ailing Shredder Luke as we get into game number 3.
It's a time for us to jump in and maybe play a little bit for Hollidaysburg. I wonder if we'd be allowed, maybe, but I think that might, I think that might be more of a disadvantage, actually, if I were to jump in there, considering, where I'm at, both in terms of skill and ping. But no, Forest Hills, fantastic with that victory in game number 2. A lot more of what we expected from this squad. That Blaziken-Velko combo. We saw how strong it could be. Vaco, the one who puts in the goals, both the assists going over to Mega Blaziken. 6 shots from Vaco alone. Like, fantastic performance.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that this is where we really see Vaco shine. We've talked a lot about them throughout the regular season just because they have been that star-studded player on the side of Forest Hills. But they really shine when there's someone there to set up for them, when there's someone there to assist them, to make sure that they are getting the ball sent in front of the net, set up for them. And Mega Blaziken does exactly that. Thankfully, it looks like we might be seeing a sub on the side of Hollidaysburg coming in just so that they have that third man to deal with whatever issues poor Shredder Luke has been dealing with. And once we get a full 3v3 squad, I'm very excited.
Yeah, exactly. I'm hoping that this is actually going to be where the series does kind of take it to that next level right now. And I don't even want to be too critical of Hollidaysburg as well, because in the 2v3, I mean, they still were able to keep it somewhat competitive. Yes, they never really had a chance to shine on offense, but defensively, in that tough situation, they only held a very prominent Forest Hills attacks to 2 goals. So if they're back at full strength with 3 members, we could see them maybe even out that balance of possession. And through that, maybe we get a couple goals themselves. So I'm excited to see how they can bounce back once they do get all their members in. These students are very, very polite. They wait for us to say go before jumping in. And I do kind of appreciate that, but I don't know if they're listening or not, but this is me saying, hey, you guys can go.
Yeah, I mean, and it might also be just both of the teams taking time to recollect themselves. We know that Forest Hills was making the sub swap for the second game. Hollidaysburg has been dealing with some technical issues, and they're also adding in a sub as well. So it does help to just take a little bit of that time to recompose yourself while you're waiting for the coach or your captain to make those final decisions.
Well, we are going back into it. Big Poppy being subbing in for Luke. So very unfortunate that Luke couldn't keep their computer in line. Technological issues are very unfortunate, but hopefully Big Poppy can come in and have a similar impact that we saw out of Blaziken. That opening goal, though, it goes to Haphazard.
Yeah, but the assist is credited to Big Poppy, already making an impact, giving you hail, just not on the right side of that ball, unfortunately.
I'm going to push back, not against necessarily what you're saying, but against the game giving that assist to Big Poppy. That was all haphazard, getting a dunk on giving you hail. I don't know if that assist is well and truly deserved, but hey, can't argue with the stats, I suppose. Big Poppy does come in, gets an immediate assist, and for a team that got shut out last game, now with that third member, they've already have a lead.
Oh, Big Poppy just barely getting out of the way. I think if they had touched that, they may have redirected, but Baco is there. Doesn't quite get the dunk. It was so close.
Yeah, that would have been a very nice equalizer. Instead, Forest Hill's going to have to play on that back foot once again. Off the backboard, Baco going for a play off the ground, read by haphazard, but Baco keeps possession. We'll get that off the backboard. Trolleyman missed. Shot from Blaziken, saved by Trolleyman on the recovery. Fantastic stuff coming from the Hollidaysburg defender.
Yeah, but the Forest Hills aggression is not done. Baco there to set it up again. Mega Blaziken is there. It's going to be a little high. Trolleyman there to save it. It's still not out of the danger zone. And oh my gosh, like sharks are in a feeding frenzy. Forest Hills is just still keeping up the attack. We see a demo come out. Giving You Hail has an opportunity. It's just going to get knocked the wrong way, unfortunately.
So one of the unfortunate things about this Forest Hills attack, what they're doing correct is actually the tight spacing, the slices that they're using to cut off the momentum of the defense. That is fantastic. If their touches had just been a little bit more accurate, I feel like they'd be scoring goals quite easily right now. But this is fantastic to build off a ball in front of the net. Blaziken taps it in.
You know, it does feel a little bit like Forest Hills is going for the quantity over quality method, where they are just throwing as much against the wall to see what sticks. And at the end of the day, something will stick, something will go in, and they have been able to tie it up now with 3 minutes left in this game. There is still so much Rocket League left.
But I like quantity over quality, to be quite honest. I actually think that's a smarter way to play this game in Rocket League, because through quantity, you get more attempts and you get chances to build towards quality. You get to learn how to attack, and once you're able to combine the two, I mean, then you're golden, right? But you don't get there only taking 100% shots. You have to take risks in this game. Beautiful aerial from Trolleyman, though, to make it 2-1 in favor of Hollidaysburg.
Oh my gosh, we have to watch this again. Mega Blaziken goes up, but Trolleyman just had the better positioning right over top of Mega Blaziken. Hollidaysburg goes up 2-1.
Pretty important lead, especially how it was in response to that quick goal from Forest Hills.
Yeah, and we see another kind of awkward touch off. This time, neither team was really ready for it. So Baco wasn't cheating up, wasn't going to take that easy shot. But now Forest Hills caught in their own corner, desperately trying to knock this away. 2 minutes remaining. Baco's going to get a hang on it, but it's going to get knocked away again. Trolleyman is there. Mega Blaziken going to swipe it away.
Yeah, Trolleyman was trying to find that goal. Doesn't quite get it this time. It's going to have another look, though, going up, spiking it down. Baco on defense. Big Poppy actually had the opening, but put it a little bit too high. Not quite the goal they were looking for. Still 2 minutes left in this game. Mega Blaziken looking for a pass over to Baco. Beautiful touch, and that's going to be the equalizer.
This is so nice. I love this. Right off the wall, no one is there at the net. Baco is ready to make sure it push it even further, as we see Trolleyman desperately reaching with the wheels, but wasn't able to. And now we're tied up. 1:52 left.
Yeah, time tick-tocking down as well at this 2-2 scoreline. Trolleyman gonna put it off that sidewall, looking to stay with it underneath. Baco gets a touch, but doesn't go too far with it. Big Poppy, nice strike. It was a little bit too tight. Haphazard looking to throw it back to Trolleyman, but the 50 is gonna be won by Giving You Hail. 90 seconds remaining. It's starting to feel more and more like the next goal possibly win this game and advance the team to match point. Can Baco fight it right here? Oh, not quite.
Oh no, Baco got in the way of the teammate, and unfortunately it was just knocked away. That was Forest Hill's opportunity. It looked beautiful. Baco was able to make that space, but unfortunately doubled back right into the ball and got in the way of the second man. Oh my God.
That was almost a disastrous misplay from Big Poppy right there, but the save from behind from Haphazard may have just saved this game. Under a minute to go. Haphazard swings and misses with the ball, all to set up the pass, but Big Poppy was kind of in the way. Not sure what the attempt was going for right there. What a lock from Blaziken. It goes in the top bin.
Oh my, all the way from Forest Hills goal right into this corner. iCharlieMan tried to get to it, but was not fast enough. Forest Hills now has the advantage with 45 seconds remaining. They just need to hold on to this 1-point lead.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough one for sure. Can they do it? Giving you hail. Ooh, runs into a bit of contact right there from iCharlieMan. Bako over the top, trying to get it through the backboard. Once again, make a Blaziken. Now looking to set up Bako, drops it down, but doesn't get in the net. This is all well and good, but Hollidaysburg needs to find a way to get that ball back to the green side of the pitch.
Yeah, unfortunately, Hollidaysburg just knocking it into this corner where Forest Hills is waiting. Now there's an opportunity. iCharlieMan's gonna get a touch. It's not in the direction quite where they wanted. Mega Blaziken gonna get a little bit, but the ball is dangerously floating in front of Forest Hills net. iCharlieMan teeing it up, giving you hail with the save.
And with only 3 seconds remaining, that's gonna do it for this one. One last chance. Trolleyman actually in position, but can't make contact with the ball. Forest Hills takes game 3 and advance to match point.
Ooh, and we were talking about it. This was going to get very competitive when both teams had their established 3-man roster, when Hollidaysburg wasn't dealing with their technical difficulties. And I think this game number 3 really showed that, really showed how close both of these teams are.
Yeah, I have to agree. And I mean, I do feel like going into this 4th game, pressure's going to be on Hollidaysburg, and I'm going to be curious to see how they react to it. Big Poppy now, they had their moments, yes, but there was also times where Big Poppy did seem a little bit out of sync. And again, I'm going to have to go back. Is the game moving at a faster pace than what they're used to? Are they just cold because they've had to sub in? There was a couple unforced errors, and I really do feel like those unforced errors at the end of the day were the difference defensively for Hollidaysburg. There was a lot of times when members on that side had to break rotation to kind of recover from an unforced play, and then they're on that back foot. And Forest Hills, as you mentioned before, it's like sharks smelling blood in the water. They see that misplay, they see the panic mechanics come through, and they just go attack, attack, attack.
You know, I one of the things that I really love that you talk about a lot is the panic mechanics, and I completely agree. There is a time where that ball is floating dangerously in front of your net, and something primal just kicks in. You panic, and you just got to do anything and everything to knock it away, even if it isn't in the possibly or potentially the most optimal or best way to do it. And sometimes players just flub a little bit when it comes to those panic mechanics.
Yeah, and it's something that you see a lot of times in these types of events in like high school or intervarsity events. It you don't see it as much when you get to the professional level, and that comes from play experience and understanding the flow of the game, and sometimes even trust in the teammates as well. But even they will fall victim to the panic mechanics at time because sometimes you warrant it, and who knows? Like that's where greatness can be made, but for the most part, when you start to panic, that's when rotations break down. That's when inoptimal touches happen. And often you kind of dig yourself deeper into that hole you're trying to dig out of. So you got to remain cool, calm, and collected, especially when it's your opponent's match point. Hollidaysburg, the pressure's on you. Are you going to rise to it, or will this be a Forest Hills victory?
Oh, I am so excited as we're getting into game number 4. Again, Forest Hills up 2-1 in the series. As Formal said, this is indeed match point. And Big Poppy missing an important block there. Forest Hills, 5 seconds in, goes up by 1.
You know, we're talking about how, hey, the pressure can cause mistakes. That was a big one. The start that Forest Hills definitely wanted right there. Already up 1-0 in this game.
Yes, indeed. And sometimes that's all you need. Mega Blaziken missing that ball. Thankfully, Bako is there to touch it. iCharlieMan not able to get on the right side. But sometimes, yeah, that opening goal is all the momentum you need in order to secure the game, because you know how much pressure is mounting on the other team. They need to get a goal. They need to win this match in order to take it to game 5. That's a lot of pressure.
That said, though, there's a lot of time left. I mean, those early goals sometimes can be a bit of a blessing or a curse because you still have a lot of time for the opponents to bounce back in this one. But the thing that I like about Forest Hills is they don't kind of fall back on their laurels. Even though they get that 1-goal lead, they're going to continue to attack. They're going to continue to try to pressure and keep Hollidaysburg on that back foot. That just seems to be their style for the most part. But when you swing and miss, it can be very dangerous. Pass off the backward trolley man was very far forward. Still a good touch. Follow-up from Big Poppy is in, and that's going to be the tie ball game.
Yeah, there's redemption for Big Poppy, able to just finish off what Trolley Man started and make up for that missed defense earlier in this game. We're tied 1-1, Forest Hills versus Hollidaysburg. Like you said, maybe getting that early goal is sometimes more of a curse than a blessing. You might start to rest on your laurels a little bit or out-rotate yourself and just aren't prepared for that sort of aggression.
Yeah, we do continue along. Still going to be a tie ball game, 1 apiece. Big demo from Trolley Man on Vaco, but the more aggressive team, Forest Hills, gets to the ball first. Big Poppy with a chance to clear, shut down by Mega Blaziken, and that's going to allow for a shot on a Vaco. Good stop from Trolley Man, but now giving you hell. Looked like they had the open net, but Big Poppy from behind actually able to find that save. You love to see those types of defensive rotations. Wasn't enough to find the clear initially, but eventually Trolley Man will bang it through.
Yeah, indeed. We have just a little over 3 minutes remaining. Now it's on the side of Forest Hills. Can they make something happen? Haphazard gonna drop a low ball, but not gonna make anything happen. Oh my gosh, that's right in front of the net. Trolley Man getting a touch on it. Desperately needed touch indeed.
Yeah, Trolley Man just keeps getting these last-second touches. Vaco almost goes straight over the top. Got past 2 defenders, but with Haphazard's trust, was actually getting right back in front, and it kind of turned into a strange pass, one that was desperately needed from Hollidaysburg. Still halfway through this game. Big opportunity for Big Poppy. They put it up high instead of down low.
Unfortunate, but Trolley Man is there to finish off that goal. Again, we see Big Poppy and Trolley Man working together. Haphazard even got a touch into that to set up for Trolley. That's the whole team of Hollidaysburg. That's an entire rotation right there.
That was, and I really love the passing plays coming through. That was fantastic stuff. Hollidaysburg, they showed that they've got the stuff when on these counterattacks. That's when they've been looking at their best, and I wonder if that's going to cause Forest Hills to be a little bit more passive when on the attacking side. Another strike from Big Poppy makes it a 3-1 game.
Yeah, and this all started with that double commit right there. Vaco, Mega Blaziken both going up for the ball. Neither of them ready to be in position for the follow-up, for that rebound. And now Forest Hills in a scary situation. 2 minutes, 26 seconds on the clock, and they're down by 2. Down by 3, never mind. Trolley Man gonna make it through the crowd and put another point on the board for their team.
When it rains, it pours. Big Poppy just got a better line on that cheat right there and was able to just completely read Vaco like a book. That opens the doorway for the goal, and we said Big Poppy was going to need a little bit, I think, to warm up into this series, and even though even in this game they started slow, now they're taking it over.
Yes, indeed. I love to see it. Big Poppy feels like they have a fire in them. They're trying to make up.
No!
Oh my gosh, of course we're talking about it. Big Poppy cannot make that stop. Mega Blaziken, all by their lonesome, able to score this very slow goal.
David Ortiz was never known for his defense, all right? He was known for hitting home runs. I think that carries over in Big Poppy's gameplay a little bit. Offensively, fantastic. Defensively, still some holes that need to be worked on in that game.
It leaves just a little bit to be desired, but hey, at the end of the day, you don't need defense if you keep putting points on the board. And Hollidaysburg may feel a little pressured, but they are still in a good position, up 2 points, 4-2.
Yeah, the best defense is a good offense, right? Not sure I 100% agree with that mentality, but if it works, it works. Let's see what we get right here. Trolley Man actually looking to go for the clear, but once again, Forest Hills get in their own way offensively, and now Vaco has to make a save. Everyone misses the ball, and Vaco somehow keeps possession of it. Not sure what happened, but hey, Forest Hills will take that. Pass to the middle. Blaziken can't collect.
Perfectly set up. Mega Blaziken just didn't react fast enough, and that's so sad. It's so heartbreaking. Vaco did everything in their power to set that up, and now giving you hail cannot stop the shot from Big Poppy. Hollidaysburg is running away with this.
Yeah, I think that goal right there just put the icing on the cake. Game number 4 looking to go the way of Hollidaysburg, which means that we are going to be getting that game 5. As we kind of were hoping in this series, it's good to see both teams stepping up in these key moments right now. Still going to be a minute left, still going to be a tight ball game nonetheless, I feel. But if you're Forest Hills right now, you're just looking to mentally reset, prepare yourself, I feel like, for that next game. Maybe get a goal or two, maybe see what can happen. But Hollidaysburg, they have that momentum. They're making the plays. And the turnaround for Big Poppy, at least offensively, has been fantastic to watch.
Yes, indeed. And I love exactly what you just said. Yes, if you're Forest Hills, you cannot let this game get you down. You have got to be thinking about game 5. This game practically done, 30 seconds remaining, 3 points down. This game is done. You just need to think about resetting. This game no longer matters. Take it out of your mind and just think about what it takes to win game 5 and the series. Vaco, unfortunate misclick, I believe there. Haphazard just going to get a free goal.
Yeah, I want to watch this one. So Vaco slammed the brake and then accidentally side flipped. That's awkward play right there from Vaco. Is what it is. I don't think it's going to affect the end result of this game too much, and we'll see if they're going to be able to bounce back. 20 seconds remaining, giving you Hale cheated a bit too far forward. That almost is another goal until Mega Blaziken puts it up. 10 seconds left. Game number 5 right now, and this is going to be a tough one to call, as Blaziken actually does sneak another goal before we finish.
Yes, indeed. And I love that. I think if you are the losing team, even just getting another goal on the board adds a little bit of confidence, adds a little bit of momentum to you. Even if you're going into this knowing that you lost the opportunity to close out the set, it does give you a little bit more hope. Not everything is hopeless. You can still score on them. It's still possible. As we have game number 4 ending in Hollidaysburg victory, we are going to game 5. Forest Hills, Hollidaysburg 2-2.
Yeah, this is going to be a fun one. Game number 5. One of those games, again, every touch matters, every play important, every goal could be the deciding factor. It's going to be an interesting matchup, especially considering 6 goals scored in game number 4 for Hollidaysburg. That is not a small number when it comes to Rocket League. So I'm kind of looking at Hollidaysburg right now, and I can't help but feel like if they can keep this offensive momentum going, it should be theirs. I still kind of lean towards Forest Hills probably being the stronger team mechanically when given space to work with, but the Hollidaysburg counterattack has been far too quick, and Forest Hills, they've been their own worst enemy sometimes when it comes to overcommitting.
Yes, I completely agree. We have seen several overcommits, several double commits, even a couple triple commits, and sometimes they just get in their own way. And I'm looking at the stats right now. The Forest Hills really did take the best defense is a great offense to heart. They had 1 save out of the 8 shots from Hollidaysburg. Again, it's just them playing very aggressively and then not having enough time to rotate back in order to stop Hollidaysburg from taking a shot at the net.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. There's going to be a little bit of a delay, I feel like, before we get into our next game, as well as we've had a player have to have a technical restart for their computer. But I imagine it shouldn't take too long. And when we do get back into this game, yeah, it's going to be. Look, I try to keep it anonymous, okay, as who it was, and then they have to just say who it was in the
You
chat
just
right
said it
there.
in chat,
Yeah,
yeah.
just drop it in chat. But no, as soon as we get back into this game, yeah, it's going to be. I don't know. I still kind of feel like Forest Hills has impressed me a little bit more gameplay wise, and I can't explain why. It's something in the gut, I suppose. Especially considering Hollidaysburg. I guess it's because I am always a sucker for the team that's on the attack more. I always see them as the more consistent side, and there has been a couple defensive touches from Hollidaysburg that has me scratching my head. But I cannot deny the strength of that counterattack. Like they could just switch on a dime, and the speed at which they can come at you with that counterattack is so good to watch. I think all I need to see from Hollidaysburg is a sustained attack turn into a goal, and then I can say, yeah, this is looking like a complete team. But at the moment, I've kind of seen more from Forest Hills in terms of play style, which is why I'm more leaning towards them.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it at the start. Forest Hills is indeed one of my favorites in this division. I really do love the Mega Blaziken Vaco duo. They are just incredible. Yeah, even with Vaco having a little bit of low self-confidence, as we see in the chat, Vaco, arguably the best player on Forest Hills, not having enough confidence in themselves. I think they really just need to take it back. But as we are having Vaco have some issues, version mismatch, we are going to be taking a short break while they figure out those technical difficulties. Don't go anywhere. This match is it's at the ultimate, it's at the climax. You're not going to want to miss this. We'll be right back. All right, here we go. Thank you so much for your patience. Rocket League decided to have an update, and that is something we unfortunately cannot control. Again, this is game 5. Both these teams 3-1, so this will be determining the 2nd and the 3rd seed, at least in week 5. So very important match that we have here.
Yeah, this is a very, very critical game right now, and Mega Blaziken is going to strike first. Forest Hills on the board now. Remembering, game 4, very one-sided in Hollidaysburg favor. You would have thought they would have had that momentum, but due to this long delay, both these teams coming back in cold, that first goal so important. Forest Hills desperately did need that.
Yes, absolutely. And of course, with Mega Blaziken, the star that we've seen a lot out of them. Mega Blaziken trying to make a save there, but Vaco gonna get in the way of 2 members of Hollidaysburg. Double commit isn't going to be enough. Hollidaysburg really trying to even it up very quickly. Mega Blaziken on their own gonna flip it up, but iTrolleyman is there to knock it away.
Yes, Vaco is going to continue to try to play through the corner. 3 defenders back for Hollidaysburg right now. Big Poppy loses out on that challenge to make a Blaziken. Ball rolling towards the net. Very interesting defense from Hollidaysburg. They are, once again, they play this counterattacking style where they stay as far back as possible, wait for the rotational misplay, and then attack one at a time. This time it was Big Poppy fighting that gap. Trolleyman followed it through, and you have a tie ball game.
Wow, that is absolutely insane. Not even a minute gone. And honestly, just both teams have such unique play styles. We see Forest Hills with the very aggressive, very upfront play style, sometimes even to their detriment, versus Hollidaysburg, who's a very defensive but haphazard. It's gonna get it past 2 defenders of Forest Hills, taking a little bit of matters into their own hands, being very aggressive here.
Yeah, and I'm actually surprised that one was able to kind of sneak through. Forest Hills, 3 defenders back, one even on the backboard. Someone should have been able to make that play. A bit unfortunate for them that they couldn't quite piece it together, so Hollidaysburg once again out in front.
Yeah, but this is just a 1-point lead. Mega Blaziken knocking it down, trying to set something up. Unfortunately, just doesn't get on the right side of the ball. There is giving you Hail to set up, but Forest Hills still in the attacking position. We see a lot of contact. iTrolleyman and Vaco going to miss that. Mega Blaziken has an opportunity, but it's going to get knocked away by Big Poppy, who's trying to keep up the aggression. Also going to demo giving you Hail, giving Hollidaysburg some more opportunities to move and breathe.
Yeah, they're trying to find those gaps. They're trying to find those spaces. Boom and clear coming from the Hollidaysburg side. And whenever you see those clears, look for them to get on the attack. Haphazard putting it in a good spot for Trolleyman. Doesn't quite win that 50-50. Forest Hills now a chance to get themselves back on the attack, but it was a swing and a miss. Haphazard shot is going to be saved on the goal line.
Oh, now Vaco has an opportunity, but actually going to clink with iTrolley Man, who knocks it backwards to Big Poppy. Vaco still trying to get something happen here.
Yeah, trying to create something, although they can't go too far with it, but that's another unforced error. Pass back down to Big Poppy. Shots on target, saved by Vaco.
Ooh, what a save indeed. Oh, no. That is not the touch that you wanted to have there, and Hollidaysburg is going to take full advantage of that awkward ball. iTrolleyman in the perfect position to capitalize.
Yeah, that was a fantastic little play right there. Halfway through this game, Hollidaysburg, they're looking a lot more like Game 4 as opposed to Games 3 Hollidaysburg, although this kickoff could be dangerous for Forest Hills. Get the demo, get the ball back into a striking position. Shots a little bit too tight. Big Poppy almost own goals it. Fortunately, that bounces high as well.
Oh man, I really would have liked to see someone like Giving You Hail or Vaco to move in position to help Mega Blaziken finish that ball, but unfortunately both of them are going back for some extra boost, and at that point, Hollidaysburg's defense is just too strong for one player alone.
Yeah, it's been a bit too much to handle, but this time it's going to be Mega Blaziken. That was a nice goal as we watch this one more time. Ball makes its way to the backboard. Mega Blaziken gets the read, puts it in the net after the misplay by the defender, and back within one with only 2 minutes left to play.
Yeah, and normally we're seeing Mega Blaziken tee up for Vaco, but in this time we saw Vaco getting that assist ready for Mega Blaziken. We also see Vaco being a bit aggressive, having those touches. They have to be careful that they're not bumping into their own teammates, though. And just some chaos as these players are grouping up in the midfield.
Ooh, haphazard with the unfortunate backflip. Might have opened the door away. Forest Hills with a chance. Here comes the shot. No! It's a little bit too far. I wasn't sure if that was a pass or a shot, actually, as we had defenders kind of staying back. Still a minute and a half remaining. Forest Hills, they have time to come back in this one. If we see the shot come through, but it's another swing and miss, and that's 2 opportunities squandered by the Forest Hills side.
Yeah, that was a perfect opportunity. If Vaco was just in the right position there, didn't miss the ball, that should have been a free goal in order to tie things up. But now iTrolleyman running away with it.
Open net miss, though, and that could have put this series away. Hollidaysburg, they still have that 1-goal lead, but Forest Hills have gotten close on a couple occasions right now. That clear a little bit too powerful, was momentarily collected. You can't go too much further with it. Under a minute still to go in this game. Hollidaysburg, they're on the attacking side, but they've never been able to keep it sustained. Now it's the slow play. Now it's the open net. A chance to tie Big Poppy from behind.
What a save from Big Poppy, and that is exactly what Hollidaysburg need in order to keep their lead, and now they're back on the aggression.
Yeah, but they've got to be careful right here. We saw how dangerous that last counterattack was. Hollidaysburg, though, they're winning each and every one of these 50s. Tick-tock going that clock away from Forest Hills as they can't cross the midfield line. No one stayed back. Vaco rushes to get there, but Trolleyman already shutting it down off the backboard. Pass down, a chance to end. Comes off the post. It was a triple commit. That is a breakaway opportunity, but the clear does not go straight, and Forest Hills may have missed their last chance. 3 seconds on the clock. Vaco keeps it up high, but no one is underneath it. Hollidaysburg, they're letting it go back to the green side of the pitch. Blaziken will keep it in the corner, but they bump their teammates out of the way, or do they? It's a dribble situation for Blaziken. They're trying to get it to the wall. Trolleyman tries to steal it away. Underneath, Vaco is there, but that's not gonna be enough. Hollidaysburg wins it 3-2.
Oh man, and Forest Hills tried so hard at the end there to keep the ball alive, but unfortunately they were just too deep in their own half. Forest Hills able to start off with a good push, good aggression, able to get that opening goal, but at the end of the day, Hollidaysburg just putting points on the board, able to keep their solid defense. Maybe the best offense is a solid defense.
Maybe it is. Maybe it is. I don't know. I still feel like Hollidaysburg's counterattacks were by far that sort of edge that they had at the end of the day over Forest Hills. I still would have liked to see more sustained attacks from them. And if they're going to become, that team that well and truly starts to challenge Windber, we're going to have to see more sustained attacks. Because I feel like Windber on the attacking side as well probably will eventually find some holes and are going to be less likely to make those rotational misplays that Hollidaysburg was able to capitalize on. For Forest Hills, it was a valiant effort nonetheless, and they had their opportunities. They had their breakaway shots. They had their open nets. They just weren't able to convert. And it kind of goes back to the previous point I was making, where they put themselves in the right position. They played the more complete game, but sometimes their touches are a little bit off. And at the end of the day, that feels to me like what cost them this series.
Yeah, I have to agree wholeheartedly. There are times where it looked like they had that open net, they had that opportunity, and the touch that they got was just not where they wanted to put it. So I completely agree. I think if Forest Hills can really clean up those touches, really make sure that the ball is going exactly where they want to, they are going to be a formidable team. And this is the fun part about it, right? This is only week 5. We have one more week of regular season for Division 2 Rocket League, and then we have playoffs. Every team is making it into the playoffs. This is basically just for seeding. So this is not the last that we're going to see of Hollidaysburg or of Forest Hills. And it just makes me so excited to think how much they're going to improve and how they are going to fare in playoffs.
Yeah, I think it's going to be exciting for sure to see. But that's not all what's coming up. There's also going to be some Overwatch here as well on this same Twitch channel. And that's happening tomorrow as their league is also coming towards the end of it all. So a lot of high school esports still to come here at TEC.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And Overwatch has been very exciting to watch. So if maybe you're looking for more high school esports to take a look at, tomorrow 3:30 EDT, Overwatch is happening. So much fun. It can be a little chaotic, but I think it's part of the fun.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a lot of fun for sure.
Well, I think that is going to be it. That we will be wrapping up this stream. Thank you so much for sticking with it and enjoying the broadcast. I know we had a little bit of technical difficulties. Sometimes you just cannot get away from those difficulties, especially when it is just the game developer making an update or something like that. But that's esports at the end of the day. I, of course, have been Alexander T. Kresek, joined by Max Formal. Thank you guys so much. Have a fantastic evening, afternoon, morning, whatever. And we will see you tomorrow for some Overwatch action.